Aloha, my name's Anna Covert, and I'm coming to you from my battleship here on the beautiful island of Oahu. This week on the Covert Code, the topic is Love, Learn, Play, Unlocking Human Potential in Work. And my special guest is Akhil Gupta, founder of Universal Enlightenment and Flourishing, UEF, author of Bridges Across Humanity, and former senior managing director of Blackstone. Akhil launched UEF during his time at Harvard's Advanced Leadership Initiative with the mission to promote human flourishing and spirituality. Today, he serves on leadership boards at both Harvard and Stanford and continues to blend classic wisdom with modern research to promote human happiness and understanding worldwide. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you.
So, wow, you're such an impressive background. Why don't you give us a little opening here on just how you started in finances and ended up where you are right now with the launch of UEF and just things that are so incredible.
So first, I must admit that I have been very, very lucky, very grateful, being born in Old Delhi, Chinese Rock. Went to Indian Institute of Technology, which is the MIT equivalent of India. And my dream in life was to be the best chemical engineer that India can have. And I had lots of jobs because I was top of my class. But then Hindustan Unilever came in, which was like the best job anybody thought in India, but less to do with technology, more to do with management. But it was like the most prestigious job, so I couldn't say no. I was not strong enough to say, hey, my conviction is to be chemical engineer. So I drifted and joined the chemical engineer. Some of my professors got really ragged with me. And, and actually I really enjoyed it. It's a wonderful company. I would say so far the best company I have worked for, both in US and India. Very professionally managed, and at the same time, very family oriented, very individual oriented, very society oriented, although we wanted to be profitable. So that's the kind of ideal company for me where your mission is very broadly defined as serving the society and taking care of the individuals. Then very something happened. I left that company and went to Stanford University to study. And after that, I had no control of my life. Once I graduated from Stanford, I took the job that was available to me for consulting. So as you can see, I got bored after 6 years in Hindustan Unilever. I got bored in that company for 6 years. So I went for leverage buyouts. I got bored again. And then my friend, who's now the richest Indian in the world, Mukesh Ambani, he was my classmate at Stanford Business School. He invited me to join him. Initially, I was very reluctant. I used to live in Newport Beach, California, as beautiful as your Hawaii.
Yes.
24 hours, 365 days, beautiful weather. And I said, how can I come from there to Mumbai, which was that very polluted, poor infrastructure, had no facilities. But, when Mukesh Ambani wants you, he gets you. So he's so charming and so humble and amazing vision. So I was supposed to go there for 2 years, ended up for 12. And then Blackstone was looking to start their operation in India. And I don't know how. I had no background in finance. I wouldn't not say background in finance. Obviously, I have an MBA, and when you look at projects, you obviously understand finance and economics, but not private equity. And so I got hired, and I spent 10 years, and that was a career peak in my life that I came to the conclusion that any amount of money, fame, and power that I could ever ask for was there for me, and yet I was feeling something lack.
Mm.
And then I went to Harvard University, and I thought I'll do impact investing because I knew investing very well. Blackstone was amazing in teaching investing, but I didn't want to investing to make money. I wanted to investing to make impact. I'd come to a stage where I was not looking anything for myself. I was looking to how can I be more useful to the society. And then I was also very passionate about learning, and that's one of the love, learn in life in my title. So I took 36 classes at Harvard, and dots started to connect And I said, rather than impact investing, I want to do something else. And basically, what happened was that there were two paradoxes that they hit me. One was at Kennedy School, I took a class on politics and religion. And I learned, pardon my ignorance from before, that one third of population in European countries got killed by fight between Protestants and Catholics. I said, how can that be? The prophet teaches love thy neighbor as thyself and love thy enemy even more. And here is so many people killing each other. So that was the paradox I would get at the bottom of it. And the second paradox, which was pretty elaborately said by previous Harvard president, Derek Bok, saying, uh, we have quintupled our GDP, but we have not increased our happiness. And I saw that I was here with the most privileged students in the whole world. And when you hear the mental statistics about depression and stress, and I could just see they're really not in touch with what life really wants from them. It's all compulsive life about grades and money and career and all that stuff. And I saw the problem from my pedestal very, very simply. And I thought, since I've had the benefit of going through those stages myself and coming to a different level of awareness, that I should share with others. So that's how my journey started, and it was, as I was thinking about it, it got reinforced by two other things. One was David Brooks. Basically, David Brooks said that, when you're looking for inner light, it shouldn't be asking, what do I want from life? But you should ask, what is life asking of me?
Yes.
And I said, what is unique about me? My unique about me was born a Hindu, but very broad-minded Hindu. I dated Christian girls. I dated is Muslim. I had my friends all, and I loved going to their events and holy days. And rather than trying to understand what is different about them, uh, I used to enjoy the diversity. I said diversity is the richness in life. And basically, I remembered that when I came to the US, that time emails were not there, so I should write letters saying to my friends, saying, "Oh, how Americans are so different than Indians." 3 years later on, I was writing the same letter saying, "Oh my God, look at how Americans are so similar to Indians." And that's what triggered my quest for the first book, Commonality Across All Religions. And after we are all now using large language models, so you can see that the answer they give you is depending on the question you ask.
Mm-hmm.
So the questions we were asking was the wrong question. Hey, tell me about my religion, right? And basically, subtext was, tell me how my religion is superior to others.
Mm.
And my first principle saying, human nature has been the same, is the same, and all prophets are teaching the same moral behavior. So they have to be similarity. And especially if you look at things metaphorically and not literally, then you find a lot more similarity. So that inspired my first book.
Wow. Yeah, basically, a value probably would have. I'm a big philosophy lover. I went to business school as well, but almost did a minor in philosophy, and makes me think about Simone Weil. You
Yes.
probably studied her, and I thought the same thing when I heard about her struggle. And for all my listeners, basically, she was French, and she talks about her deep affliction of pain and suffering, and then she finds Christ, right?
Yes.
And she was Protestant, and she becomes Catholic, but she refuses, and she loves Christ, but she refuses to become baptized, because if she
Yeah.
did, she'd be separating herself from the whole rest of the world, which was also created in God's love and thus in His will. And I
Yeah.
thought that was very powerful. And I'm with you on just that there is more. We're all human. We are all the same, really, if you want to think about awareness and consciousness. And we're just different versions and different ways to experience that.
Yeah. Obviously, when I was in India, obviously we all look alike. There are few very close friends of mine. We were close like for 5, 6 years before I got to know, oh, this chef is a Muslim. Oh, the other guy is a Hindu. There was no Christian. There's absolutely no difference in terms of their cultural behaviors and needs, wants. They all did yoga, but they all did their namaz or went to church, which I did not know. They were doing more privately. And the way I got to know, he said, hey, uh, we got to know, I think you like to go to church with us. I said, I love to go to church with you, right? The other guy say, I don't know, but I think I can sneak you in the mosque to do namaz, you know? So it's like, I think we are all unfortunately get misguided
Yeah.
by political leaders. They are all, there's huge politics in religion. And my mission is, let me play my part to make people aware that we are actually being misguided. If you look at, my website, u
I went
www.
I went there and I was actually gonna talk to you, so because I love that video that I watched about
Yeah,
learn and play, and I thought that was really, 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 really cool because it's true. When we think about just life in general, and how much after 7, right? They say that's when children's brain waves changed from theta to, they've been programmed, and now they're living, and then that's when they stop kind of. I mean, it doesn't start there, but that's when the playing kind of stops, so the idea of play really stops. But I think that
yeah,
you're 100% right, and I love what I do, and I feel like I
yeah.
play and I'm creative all the time. And so how can we as business leaders help our community, or our employees, really embody this concept and bring it into the workplace?
Yeah. So, the next book that Forbes is publishing, I have a chapter on love, learn, and play in the workplace. And in fact, the best place to deeply engage in loving, learning, and playing is work. It's like the gym where you face all sorts of emotions, which is like the resistance that is you find in the gym, and that builds your moral muscle. So that's the message that, and I think a lot of elaborate things that I've said about love, learn, and play in the workplace. And I look back at my life, and without knowing this framework, I was actually practicing loving, learning, and playing because that's the way I was brought up. I always had a broader mission about my work. Like in Blackstone, most people think I went there to make money. My broader purpose was that India needed a lot of foreign direct investments. So I said, hey, if I can, if I can bring Blackstone in India, then Blackstone is the biggest private equity firm. Then on their back, we will be able to bring a lot of foreign direct investments.
Yeah.
And today, after 20 years, Blackstone is the biggest investor in India, and India has been the most uh, lucrative geography for them for the last 4 or 5 years. So it's worked out beautifully well. So you know what, since you are on this topic of learning and play, you see, just like in my other book, I found what unique was that I was looking for commonalities. There's a lot of wonderful books on religion. Like I love the Houston Smith book on world religions, which I learned a lot from. But they're all in silos. This is Hinduism, this is Islam, this is Christianity. And most people come out understanding the difference between them. I take in my book one theme at a time, like love thy neighbor as thyself. And I show how it exists in all religions with specific quotes. It's not my interpretation, it's specific quotes from that. And that has a very different impact on you because I'm making you, in every chapter, I'm making you reside in the other religion for a few minutes and keep moving back and forth and moving back and forth. So I think the comfort level that you get in understanding other religions is quite unique. Same thing about this book, Love, Learn, and Play. Almost every wisdom tradition emphasizes love. There's no wisdom tradition that doesn't talk about love. Uh, there is there are few wisdom traditions that also emphasize learning. There's not one wisdom tradition that emphasizes both love, learn, and play.
Mm.
So that's the uniqueness of this book. And play, in the broader sense, is such an important part of our lives. And if you incorporate play, then many people, if you give them only learn part of it, then it's not very exciting. It gets boring after some
Don't
time.
remember anything either, right? It's like either they just like you shove it in your brain and then it's gone because it doesn't
Yeah,
stick.
exactly.
Yeah.
If you combine love, learn, and play, then suddenly the framework gets very appealing. And it actually, I mean, I've tried to think so many ways. I've looked at so many frameworks, and that's one of the things you find in my book, that I have so many other triads, and I say how they all can be derived from loving, learning, and playing. So I'm really excited about this.
When's it coming out? Is this when the Forbes publishing this book?
Yes, that's right. So I think October, November or so. Yeah,
That's exciting. Congrats.
it's in the last stages now. I got the what is that called, the layout yesterday.
Yeah. The dust jacket. That's when I did my work with them. And I'm like, what is a dust? And then I was like, oh my gosh, a dust jacket. That makes sense. Like to keep the dust off your book. And I was like, wow, that's cool.
I've learned so many new phrases in writing this book. It's been
I can't wait to see it. Are you going to also be writing a blog on the Forbes.com?
hopefully, yeah. No, I write blogs anyway, but yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Yeah. I did that for 12 months too. It was fun. I think your book is coming out at a critical time. I mean, especially with what's going on in the world, and that we really do need to come together in any way we can because it's just. And that then I 100% agree with you that the governments and politics have really tried to use this as something else that we can hate each other for. But really, they all do center around love and
Yeah.
this universal. It makes me think about ethics. When I was in college, I remember because I loved, just like you, I love philosophy and Gabriel Marcel and just, Kant and all of it. And I remember asking my philosophy professor, I was like, I'm really struggling with this concept of morality and ethics, because if you look at where it comes from, oh, you're a human, I'm a human, we're human, and they're not, because they're not like us. They don't believe the same things we do. So in some places it's okay to be a cannibal, but in other places it's not, right? So how can there be like, if everything is based off of what we believe is true, or what we are past, how can we have a universal ethic standard, right? And he was like, oh, that's something we've been struggling with for our whole lives, or all humankind, and but I think it's more than that.
But you said something so important. You said based on our beliefs. Most of us do not question where our beliefs come from. So I must tell you, when I was working in Washington D.C., a friend of mine invited me to go for sailing. Came back home to change. His wife said, "Would you like a coffee?" I say, "I love a cup of coffee." After the weather was a little cold, and then he's having coffee. Say, "So Akhil, what are your plans?" I say, "I'm just going to go to this restaurant, have something to eat, and then go home." Oh, she didn't know that I was not married, and say, "Oh, why don't you stay for dinner?" I say, "I love home cooked food, so of course I'll stay for dinner." Within like 15 minutes of our eating, she said, "Akhil, I feel so sorry for you." I said, "What happened?" She said, "Oh, you're not a Christian, so you're going to go to hell, and you're such a nice guy."
Oh, wow.
This is a PhD from MIT,
Oh my gosh.
right?
Wow.
So she never questioned that belief. So I said, "Oh, okay." Uh, I said, how many Christians are there in the world? It's about 20%. So I said, "Is the God merciful, almighty, all-knowing, all-kind, all-loving?" Yeah. I said, "Why would God produce a sort of society where 80% people are going to go and burn in hell? And before Christianity came in, everybody went to burn in hell."
Yeah.
She never asked that question. She never asked that question. And you see, for church for such a long time, for the last 100 years, they actually perpetuated that unless you come to Jesus Christ, right, you're going to go to hell. Now, only 100 years back, they've said that no, you can have salvation or whatever is in your religion through other faiths, although we keep believing that Christianity is great, which is fine. So I think one of the most important thing is where your beliefs come from. So if you look at the central message of my book is going to be that we should live our life with awareness.
Yes.
So rather than teaching people as what you should do, my approach is to first tell that, look, our inner nature is to love, learn, and play. Look, when you were children, what were you doing? You loved to play, and as you were playing, you were learning. And when you got exhausted, you went in the lap of somebody you loved. And this insight came to me when I was playing with my grandniece, my nephew. I'm not married, so I don't have children, but my nephew's niece. So her mother was showing off her culinary skills to me. He says, "Uncle, can you hold her and take care of her for 2 years? I'll cook for you." So you know, as I was with her and she wanted to play, and she was about 9 months old. So she was kind of not speaking, but pointing me to what she wants to do.
They babble. They're so cute. It's a blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just came from Harvard, taking a lot of psychology courses, and most of the experiments were done on children or baboons. So I said, let me do my experiment on her. What is that true nature? I was trying to figure out what's the true nature. And in 3 days, I figured out it is loving, learning, and playing. And that's the epiphany. I said, this is my next book. That's the true nature.
It
So
is.
then I developed the whole thing that our true nature is loving, learning, and playing. And as we move into society, we are sent to school, we're going to have grades, we're going to have jobs, then we're going to make money. So then we start to layering another self on us, which is what I call a socialized self, which wants money, power, fame, and things like that. And I don't have a problem with that. I did all that stuff. But that's a means to an end. And the ends is loving, learning, and playing. The problem, and this is how I empathetically walk people through, the problem is that gradually, as we are feeding that socialized self, we unfortunately start to starve our authentic self. It wants to love, learn, and play. To me, in one sentence, that's the problem that we want to solve. That we don't want to have the means becoming our end. So this is the means and ends inversion. And why does it happen? Exactly to what you said, that there's so many forces that are bombarding us. Unless you have this cream, your skin is not good enough. Unless you do this, right? And we're not strong enough to resist those temptations on us because we want respect from our society, right?
Yeah, I think it's 100% true. And not only that, but when you think about the repetitive pattern of the life, right? Of what people's become, they become this mundane life. And then all they do is look forward to the times where they can love, learn, and play, right? Oh,
Yes.
they live for the weekend. They live for this vacation, right? And then that becomes the familiar past or the expected future, right? And then they're not really progressing or going anywhere
Yeah.
because they're just stuck in this pattern of that.
And more importantly, I think they're stuck in that pattern without knowing what they're doing.
Yep.
So if they're consciously aware of, hey, I'm making up for the love, learn, and play, which I may not have had during the week. I'm making up during the weekend, but they will find their opportunities for that even during the week.
And
And
then they're
actually,
not
there's more.
playing, are they? Are they doing laundry and like other things? That's not really like it's not like expanding their brain, right? Not like
Even
in
at, even at work, there's so much opportunities to be your authentic self. And everybody. The funny thing is, if everybody engages in love, learn, and play, we all will be better off.
okay, well, what's an
Society
example?
will be
What's
better
something
off.
that our listeners that are, business owner, what can they do now or tomorrow to try to get their, to share some of this with their team? Like, what's something to get people more involved in this theory?
I think the key is awareness. To be aware, right, of what voices are you listening? Are you listening to your authentic voice,
Mm.
or are you listening to the socialized self of yours? That's the key thing to ask yourself. Because see, I don't. There's no intention on my part to kind of do a top down, another sort of another another version of a faith or whatever. I want the light to come from within people's hearts. And so they have to ask that question, which voice am I listening to? Am I listening to my authentic voice? Am I listening to the voice of society? Right?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
what
I recently started meditating for the last 6 months and I guess I forgot. I was talking to my girlfriend from back in Aspen when I grew up, and she reminded me. She's like, "Oh, Anna, you used to meditate when you were back in school," and I'm like, "I forgot because I did karate." And she's like, "Yeah, you
yeah.
used to meditate," and I had forgotten, right? But just, I find it to be so amazing. I think everyone should do it because that's when you don't realize that you are speaking to yourself all the time. You say like, "What voice is it?" It's like you're constantly and like just to be able to like be like, okay, like shh, like it's like to shush yourself a little bit and like be like, I don't want to listen to that voice right now. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
There's a beautiful experience that I have not had, but I understand, uh, called Vipassana meditation, where you go there and you're basically isolated from the world. You're not supposed to speak to anyone. You're not supposed to have any of these gizmos. At the end, what most people realize that I am not my thoughts. I'm not my body. I'm more than that.
Yeah.
And that's the key thing that most of the time, it is up to you which thought you want to lend your awareness to and which thought you want to just let it go, let it pass by.
Yes.
The problem is normally we are getting engaged with every single thought and we don't know where the thought. It's such a mystery to me. I get up in the morning and I'm hearing a song in my head which I heard 50 years back. And I look at the whole day. There was nothing that should prompt that song, but that song comes in. I have no idea where the thoughts come from.
Wow.
Right? Some of it I know where they come from because if I face a good issue, emotion, if I get something that my emotions get involved, then obviously sometimes in the night that tape keeps playing. But so many thoughts and dreams they come from, you just don't know where they are.
Yeah.
And
Right. Yeah, it's
that,
really interesting. It really is. And
yeah,
just finding the space, like and it doesn't I think it's just, practice. And now I just really, I get up an hour early so I can have an entire hour before I even
yeah.
start my day to just be. And sometimes it's easier than others, but it's definitely getting easier every day,
Yeah.
And yeah.
This year is my 50th year of meditation, by the way.
Wow.
I've been
What do you
doing
meditate to?
transcendental meditation.
Transcendental? Is that's the is that the
Mahesh Yogi, Maharish. That's what the Beatles did.
Mhm.
The Beatles went to learn transcendental meditation,
Wow.
and I was lucky. Maharishi came to IIT Delhi where I was studying, and I was on his reception committee. So when I went to drop to his car, I said, well, Maharishi, where can I learn? He said, come tomorrow, I'll teach you personally. So I went to where he was staying. He didn't come himself, but sent his number too.
Wow. Well, you must have some pretty mystical experiences then.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Oh, so exciting.
Yeah,
I think that then if people really, if they realize that there's more than this program that we're perceiving, really, right?
yeah, yeah,
If that's what really binds us all together, is that we are really, like you're saying, we're more than the script, and the religion's just another way, and just like anything, rules. Not that I'm saying rules are bad, but they are restricting.
yeah. And
Yeah.
and what you find is that we, is wonderful that we are in a very innovation society, but we're also innovating new ways of othering other people, right? On There's just new uh, uh, kind of whether it's based on sex or based on nation and the new thing is a political party. If you are a Democrat, you think Republicans are horrible and vice versa. That is something new. I mean, I came to the US in 1979. I never had any problems with that. In fact, most of my friends were Republican friends and few Democrats, but we all got along really well. And I'm finding that more and more difficult now which is something's very, very bothersome that
I
we
think
are,
you're
we are
100%. It's interesting you should say that because I was also, I mean, think about rights in general. I mean, we were like, progressing women's rights and transgender and all these different like expansion of identity and then all of a sudden it's like a retraction. Like it's like we're pulling it
yes,
all back. Right.
yeah,
And where will it end? That's
yeah,
the question.
yeah, exactly. So I think I thought not that I have any illusions I'll change the world, but I thought my duty at this stage in my life to my society is based on such wide experiences that I've had living in India and then US and back and forth and back and forth. I have, my best friends happen to be from somebody who has just a one-bedroom apartment in Mumbai to the most expensive real estate, in the world. Uh, and I feel the same whether I'm there and I'm not responding to anything material they have. I'm responding to the psychological profile. And to me, that's the most important thing that I relate to people's psychological profile. Do you have humility? Do you have gratitude? Are you self-focused, or are you really caring for other people? Those are the things that makes other people attracted to me. I am not attracted to their wealth or power and all that stuff. And that's I just feel so blessed that for whatever reason those are my values.
Yeah.
Just felt blessed.
Question for you, actually. So I've been to India, and it was one of the most amazing trips of my life. I was 15, and my parents took me on a cruise, and I went to Goa and Mumbai and Cochin. And one of the things and it was like just an incredible experience just to be that age and just to see what I saw. Right? And one of the things that really stood out to me, even today, is that they're the untouchables. They put up lean their mattress against the wall and leave their things, and then they leave it there all day, and no one touches it. And
Yeah.
that's not the case in America. Even with homeless people, we're moving their stuff. We're kicking. We're stealing. I mean, they're stealing from each other. There's violence. I mean, I thought, is that still the same way that it is now? And talk to me a little bit about, do you see there's a difference in the way people, I guess, classify or treat others still today in India versus in the other places in the world?
So the 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 difference that comes to you glaringly, because I was brought up in a different culture, that there's much more individuality in the West than it is in the East. Uh, I don't think about myself. I think about my family, my society, even the whole world. And I think that's both positive, because that has led to huge amount of material gains and wealth and progress. But that is also one of the key foundational issues that we are facing today, because uh, the when we think only about yourself, we don't think we have responsibility either towards the future or towards others, and we're so focused on ourselves. So not only is it wrong, but also that makes you miserable, frankly speaking. I know people are very focused on themselves. I mean, yeah, they may be making more money, they may have bigger yachts, but I know so many of my friends. I know that if you get to know close and personal, their life is not as wonderful as it appears to be.
Right.
So that's one. Second, by the way, you mentioned about homelessness. I am in the board of advisors for Harvard Initiative of Homelessness, with Professor Howard Koh is just started. And as I was learning about homelessness, I am really shocked and very, very sad about the fact that the richest country in the world, do you know how many homeless people are there in America?
I've no 10 million, 20 million.
No, not that. I mean,
Oh,
you
okay.
have none.
You mean? So I mean, that's a lot. I mean, how many?
If you have zero, there are 4 million homeless people in America.
4 million.
4
That's still a lot. I mean, that's what
The
they
richest
count.
country in the world. The richest country in the world, we have 50% people who don't have more than $400 in the bank account, right? Uh, and and there's much more poverty in India than there is in the US. And it's a very paradoxical thing again, that in some ways there's much more segregation of different castes in India.
Yeah.
But in some ways, I think we still recognize the humanity. That to me is
Like
a
everyone
paradox.
left their stuff there and they didn't touch it. They're
Yeah,
respecting this boundary, even though this is their spot, and they would would let that be. And I thought that
yeah.
was really different.
But that would come from a negative thing also, that you think they're untouchable, so the things are untouchable, so you don't go near that. That could come
Well, yeah, okay, I guess.
negative stuff also. But
That's true.
all those are minor things to me. The most important thing is that I think the humanity is still in awareness of people in India. And many times, I mean, when I was going from my apartment that I hired and rented in Cambridge to my class in Cambridge, Massachusetts. going to my class at Howard Square, I was shocked to see homeless people.
Really?
For this was 2015. I said, my God, why should America have any homeless people?
Yeah.
Right? It's the richest country in the world. We can take care of everyone. There's enough food. Actually, and I was reading that the 30% or 40% of the food in the world goes waste when 30 to 40% of humanity has no food to eat. Right?
Yeah.
And that's really a spiritual crisis, in my view, is the question of what we're talking about, that we are so focused on ourselves. And I remember the most beautiful thing Gandhiji has said, that whenever you're making a decision, see what's the impact of on a person who you think has the least, and then make your decision accordingly. So if you were to make our policies based on what's happening to the least people, you think we'll have this most beautiful bill that we are talking about,
No.
right? So that's the sad part I feel. I mean, I'm all for. I believe in capitalism. I believe capitalism as a means, not an end. I think capitalism is wonderful to create wealth faster. But if you leave capitalism to its own, then these are all the, we don't rank, US don't rank very highly on flourishing measures, whether it's like mental, sort of a sicknesses
Yeah.
or
No.
education and all that stuff. And that to me is really what the focus of my thing is, that I think we need to think more inclusively. We need to think more. We all have, whether you're a billionaire or have very little, you have only three passions in life, which is you want to love, you want to learn, and you want to play.
And I think also, what really kind of always comes to the forefront for me, especially here in Hawaii. Like I work with my nonprofit that I help with is the Boys and Girls Club. I donate a website to them, and just learning about some of these children and that they don't have any food to eat, and we try to get the meals. And I was trying to get another client to donate food. Right, they're a supermarket, and then all of it comes to the surface that, oh well, like they can't donate food because you know it's got to be prepared in a certified kitchen, and because all these different reasons, right? Where it's part of, I feel, America in general. Like for example, my mom's Swedish. I'm a half Swedish.
Yeah,
And if someone wrongs you and you sue them, the person who loses goes to prison. Right.
yeah,
There's no financial gain, right? It's
yeah,
like and then, so what happens is no one really sues anyone because unless you
yeah,
really deserve it, and that's what's happened in America, that everyone's just looking to take advantage of others. And even those ones who want to help, they are the ones who, like, it's like someone robs you and they fall in your yard and now you're in trouble kind of thing. And that's another one of the
yeah. But I think beneath all this stuff, I still believe that we are all wonderful human beings. That if we are aware of what we are doing and what is possible, we'll all be doing wonderful things to each other. I am just a firm believer.
Oh, me too. And I absolutely, like, I'm fully committed. So tell us about your organization and what you guys do daily. How can people participate?
So it's a just started the organization, and I do it part time. I haven't found a full time person on this as yet. And basically, I we are focus our focus is to religious literacy and human flourishing. And religious literacy, my goal is, and as a little bit of background, when I was starting to write this book, I went to my Howard Divinity School professors. It's a very interesting story, and they say, "Oh, Akhil, commonality is okay, but religion is actually practiced in the particular." See, most of them are like professor of Christianity, a professor of Islam, a professor of this, and they're not really much familiar about what's happening. So, and and so you may find what 10, 15 commonality, but if you want to write a book, we'll help you in whatever we can because I have good relationship. So so one professor whom I adored and admire, he's a Jesuit priest. I went to his mass on a Sunday, and he gave me communion, which he's not supposed to. So when he came down, I say, "Hey Frank, are you going to get into trouble?" He gave me communion. He said, "Yeah, when he got up, I said, yeah, when I got up, I saw your computer was running. He said, yes, I started thinking, give you or not to give you. And finally, the way I resolved, I said, look, firstly, two things. Firstly, you're as good a human being as any Christian I know. And second, if you have love for Jesus Christ, who the hell am I to come in the way? I'm offering you Jesus Christ's blood and Jesus Christ's body. And if you're willingly accepting it, who the hell am I coming in the way?
Right?
That's beautiful. And
Beautiful.
I hope more people think like that. And third thing, say, Kilya, I may get it. I'm senior enough. Don't worry about me. I will handle myself. And he teaches 7 courses on Hinduism, by the way. And he always says that because of being Hindu, reading about Hinduism, I'm a better Christian. So to me, that particularity and commonality are complementary, right? And one of the message that I want to give is the message that the current Harvard president said to me when he was a provost. Actually, I met him twice that time, and he said, Akhil, what we're trying to do at Harvard is we're trying to create T individuals. The vertical line is where they are very strong in their domain expertise, but we also want to have a big enough horizontal line so they have basic understanding of all the other relevant domains. And that my goal is to all of us to be T individuals, to practice our faith deeply. I don't want to take anything away from people who want to practice faith, whether that being a nun or being a Christian or a Hindu or a Muslim. I have no problem practicing your faith, but practice that with awareness of the other faiths, because the moment I find something in my faith and is also in Christianity, is also in Islam, so my God, I get conviction, I get stronger conviction. This is what I should be doing, and vice versa. That if you have something different, then you question that, right? And that doubt and faith is, to me, very, very important part of any growth and evolution that you can have. So that's one part that I want to overcome: exclusivity. I want to through this means we want to promote make people aware of commonality. So what do we do is we are sending email. By the way, my book has 54 commonalities, and after I had a guy from Howard Dimney School. He worked for me for 5 years to do the research. When he went for other job, he got three times the money that I was paying him, and I was very supportive. I was leaving, so he had left us 5, 6 themes that he did not write because he says he didn't find enough material. So I got into, once the large language models come in, I go to ChatGPT, and I remember one of the things he didn't write about was kneeling, and I say, "Hey ChatGPT, tell me about the importance of kneeling in all religions."
Wow.
It would give me quotes, and guess what? Within 3 hours, I was to write a beautiful article on kneeling.
Wow.
Then I took on myself, and I have now 108 themes on commonality of
Oh,
religions.
I can't wait to read it.
And Anna, so it's all on our website. You go on our website under commonality of religions, and the different petals, whether it's to do with ethical or belief system, whatever. That's 5, 6 different category. And the beautiful thing is that 70% of those things don't require you to believe in any religion. Like, you know, fasting. You don't need to believe in any religion to do fasting. And yet it's amazing how fasting was common in all religions. So people who have gone away from religion, they have thrown the baby with the bathwater. That's what I believe. And although I'm not religious in the true sense of the word, in the sense I don't believe in any of the key tenets of, like Hindus believe in afterlife, I don't believe in afterlife. My mother believes in personal God, that he looks after her every day. I don't believe in that. I do believe in God, but I don't know. I don't know what God.
I was raised without religion. My father was Jewish. My mother was an atheist, and
Yes.
I was very lucky. I remember my father. He was from New York. My mom was Swedish, and I was in Colorado. So he was the one who kind of left, and all the relatives were in New York, right? And
Yeah.
being very
Yeah.
Jewish,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
that when I was born, my father, his siblings were like, "Oh, she's got to be Jewish," and my mom was like, "Well, you have to, I'm not going to take her to temple." So we went to temple one time. And I remember I was
Yeah.
5 years old, and we
Yeah.
went, and afterward, my dad's like, "What did you think?" And I said, "I thought there was too much standing up and too much sitting down." And he said, "You know what? You're right." And we never went again because he realized he didn't want to go either. And my mom's like, "I was taking her. I'm not
Yeah.
Jewish, you know." So I think that because of that though, like I was very fortunate because I got Christmas, I got every holiday, I got Hanukkah, I
Yeah.
got Christmas. And because of that, I was always very interested in religion. And that's why I studied it in college,
Yeah.
And but I definitely believe that there is, I believe in the universe and I believe
Yes.
in source and I feel it through everything.
So my evolution has been slightly different, very religious in every sense of the word. Every belief, every ritual, every holiday. I sit down for the first 10, 12 years in front of our temple and make food for God, make offerings to God and things like that. The beautiful thing was that in Hindu religion, you're allowed to question everything, right? It's not like in many religions, you can't question Quran, you can't question Bible, otherwise you are a heretic or you can be
Oh, right. Get stoned to death or
burned to,
something like that. Yeah.
stoned to death and things like that. You can question anything and you can be Hindu without believing in any of that stuff. And my father used to encourage us. So like we used to go to mosque, we used to go to, dargahs, we used to go to Sikh places. And, so a much more expansive vision was there. And I started questioning what my mom was saying that God will come and do this. Okay, mom, why didn't God come and save you from this? Okay, mom, why didn't God come and save you from that? Oh, that's the God's will, so I must obey his will. It still feels like that, which is wonderful. That she's 91. So at this age, to feel that God is looking after her is wonderful, right? Uh, so today, my belief is that is it,
It is if it's true for her, it's true.
yeah.
It's
So today, what I believe in is there's a cosmic order. There cannot be not cosmic order, and the cosmic order will cover every sort of a neuron or every cell in the world. And if you believe in Big Bang, then you know that if there's a Big Bang, then every single particle of the Big Bang will have the code, right?
Yep.
And if there's anything else, so there's a cosmic order, and there can be cosmic order only if there's a role specified from me. So let me figure out what my role is, which I call as duty.
Yes.
And I've really lived my life only by that. What is my duty? What is my duty? It's not by ambition. A lot of people think, oh, I achieved so much coming from such a sort of or I was a middle class background to be where I am. I must be very ambitious. I was not ambitious at all. I just said, what's my duty? And I wanted to grow. So when I left Hindustan Unilever, I was the first freak to leave that best company in India to work for after I was doing so well. Because India was to me, was very claustrophobic in terms of, its traditions. And, that time internet was not there. We were a closed society. So I wanted to open myself, look what's happening in the world. I was always built like that. So, uh, and I think that has kept me very peaceful with the beauty of saying, okay, what's my duty? Let's do my duty. I have a I have a life which is very comfortable, very resourceful, but I could, if I have 1/10, I would be as peaceful. So I have never defined myself with those material comforts that I have. And I have not been negative either about them. I mean, if I have to travel, I travel comfortably. And if I have to sleep, I always get a sleeping bed on the plane uh, for 10, 12. So I travel a lot between India and the US. But
I'm with you. I like to, work hard, play hard. So you
yeah,
gotta
exactly.
relax and you're,
Yeah. And my biggest I would say I have two frameworks I want to share with your audience. One is that elephant and the nine blind men, and this is what I believe in. So there was an elephant, and nine blind men were asked to describe the elephant. So somebody who saw the tail, so it's a snake. Somebody who saw the bark, the ear, he said, oh, it's a fan. The other person saw the leg, oh, it's a tree. So the nine people describe the elephant differently. And that to me is what religion is all about. We are seeing certain aspects of reality based on where we were born, based on society, based on the context, based on education level. And even if you look at what Christ or Buddha said, that we teach you learned people in a certain way, but we have to tell the masses in parables. So the parables are meant to be metaphors for that particular time and place. But if you take that metaphors literally, that's where the problem comes in. So, so that the lesson from that to me is, firstly, I respect everyone else's perspective. And second, imagine if we all talk to each other, we will have much better view of what the elephant is. So if elephant is the reality that we're talking about, which is infinite reality compared to our cognitive limitations. So if we listen to each other, religions, we'll have a much better view of spirituality. Look what science and technology has done, because we have shared our knowledge and beliefs with each other. We stood on the shoulders of all the great scientists. And it's a miracle. Imagine this 2.5 pound brain.
It's true.
All the knowledge.
Quantum physics, and then all of our superpower of all this knowledge, this religious knowledge of, I mean, they're together. It would be. I mean, we could get to 5D.
It comes from 2.5 pound brain. Imagine.
Yeah.
So it's all there inside us.
Yeah.
We overcome our egoic self and focus on our authentic self, and lovingly share what we have to share with others. I think we can bring heaven on earth. That's really what I believe in. Second, which was more intellectual, the one course that defined me after Harvard was this course on adult development. And basically what the professor Bob Keegan says, that life is about meaning making, right? The fact that we make meaning, that's what life is. But he says we make meaning depending on different orders of mind. And what we meant was that how rich and comprehensive our frameworks are by which you make meaning. For example, I look in the sky with naked eyes, I see something, but then I have a telescope, I see something else. I mean, naked eye I feel, oh, sun is revolving around the earth. But with the telescope, I figured out, no, it's actually not. It's the other way around. And we send the Hubble telescope or the Webb telescope, and you can see 12 billion years back. So to me, as you're enriching the framework, you're seeing something different. So if you look at different religions, when they've evolved, we made, and if you understand religion as a meaning-making endeavor, we made meaning with different orders of mind when in 2000 years back. And our orders of mind is so much more. We know so much about the world. We are all educated. 95% people used to be uneducated before. We didn't know much about the world. So the whole meaning-making, the orders of mind have changed so dramatically. So all religions have to sort of renew themselves with our heightened.
You mean like a 2.0 version?
Yes, exactly. You said it. This is 2.0.
Yeah.
So that to me suddenly, instantly gave me a intellectual grounding for respecting all religions, and also seeing where the weaknesses like. So it's a empathetic understanding of religions, but also seeing where the issues are and trying to highlight those issues in a way that doesn't offend people, so that we can all from our own understanding, start to appreciate what others are offering. That's my goal.
Well, that is
So we're sending 500,000 emails every week, by the way,
wow.
and our opening rate is about 10-15%, which is for a core thing is very, very, very.
That's very good. That's very, very good. Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, I also teach a course at Stanford Business School on finding spiritual meaning in business. And there's always so I get a feedback. Last time I got a feedback from two students. I'll give you two extreme feedbacks. One student said, "Oh, Akhil Gupta worked for Blackstone, made much of money, calls himself spiritual. He's a hypocrite. I don't buy that crap."
Wow.
Okay, and it's not fair because she's kind of stereotyping me, and the stereotypical definition of me is completely correct. Second student said, "This is the most productive, useful, eye-opening 2 hours that I've spent in my entire 2 years at business school." Imagine the satisfaction I got from that feedback. It was more than making $100 million on your investment, So that's, we are touching a few lives. I don't know how many. We do a survey that some people open. I would say about about 50,000 people are opening every single version of ours. And other 50,000 kind of once in a while they come in. And I'm pretty close to finishing I can't find many more commonalities than 108. So I'm going to start switching to all the messages on loving, learning, and playing sometimes from next month or so.
Wow. Well, I really appreciate what you're doing, and I can't wait to read your book. So when it comes out, well, maybe we can do a book swap. I'll send you my book and you can send me your book, and
Yes, please. Yes, yes.
we'll have a virtual forums party together.
Yes, absolutely. Do you ever visit the East Coast at all?
I do actually. I was recently for my book launch that I had last year. I went to New York and I had a couple. I spoke at NYU, and I went to Bentley. That's in Boston, that's where I went to college. Not as fancy as you, but and then I spoke at the Beekman Hotel. I did a little speech there for Quoncast.
That obviously I have a lot of learning from you as to how to do effective launches then.
Yeah, I'm happy to help you with any marketing of your product, and
Okay, and then you have to come to my launch if I do something in New York for that.
you betcha. I would love to.
By the way, just are we done? I want to talk offside this.
Yeah, let's
that-
go. We'll wrap it up. So, thank you so much for being here. If people want to learn more about how they can get involved, they can visit uef.org. That's correct, right? Is it
F as in Frank. Yeah.
Yeah, uef.org. And you can connect with Akhil on LinkedIn as well. We'll have links inside of this article once it's posted on the Covert Code and on covert.com. And to all my listeners, please join me next week as I interview another industry expert to help you succeed on and offline. Aloha, and I'll see you in the pixels. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Covert Code podcast. To stay up to date with all our future episodes, follow us on your favorite podcast platform. Your support means everything to us. Please take a moment to leave a review and share our content with your friends and colleagues on social media. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more digital innovators like yourself. See you in the pixels. Aloha.